I'm Rohit, and it's time for Founders Frequency. This is where we talk about entrepreneurship, how to deal with challenges while you're on your entrepreneurial journey. And joining me today is a very special guest, I would like to say, as I've got the CEO of IIITB Innovation Center, Dr. Lakshmi Jagannathan, with me. Dr. Lakshmi, welcome to indigomusic.com.
Thank you, Rohit. Wonderful being here.
It's our pleasure to have you here. Now, you have been a professional in the nonprofit industry with more than a decade of experience, and your interest, right? It lies in leveraging technology to build interventions which can create impact. So, tell me about your journey as, let's say, an entrepreneur in a technology-driven world and also touching lives.
Yeah. Thank you, Rohit. I think it was a good question you asked. See, I've been in the, I would say, incubation space for close to 2 decades now. So I'm a triple IT last 1 year plus now. So if you see, I think India today, I think last few years, the
Right.
number of technology incubators created in academic campuses, created in universities to support startups has grown exponentially.
Yeah.
India today has about 1,000 incubators across campuses, right? And one of the thought process to facilitate this in the campuses is the thought process that young minds always have out of the box ideas. And technology is a lever for scaling up any impact and scaling up, creating impact on the ground. So that was the thought process that has been created. And I have been in the incubation space for close to about 2 decades, as I said early on. And it's wonderful. See, one of the reason I love being here is a lot of action and lot of things happening outside the box. And every day you get to meet a lot of guys with brilliant ideas. And some small, I wouldn't say really help, some small nudge from our side really does the magic.
Yeah. And have you seen this ecosystem grow as you have also progressed with, your growth? Have you seen a lot of such people helping other people? Because back in the day, it was more of your business is same as my business, so I'm going to put you down. So have you seen this change in the whole ecosystem?
Absolutely. Rohit, I'll tell you, I mean, maybe I'll break this into two questions, sort of, right?
Yeah.
I think last 15 years back, when people used to talk about entrepreneurship, there used to be pockets of entrepreneurship cell, training for students or training for startups, helping them, tell them what is the business model canvas, who's your customer, things like that. Today, there are multiple, I wouldn't say jargons, multiple mechanisms of doing entrepreneurship. People are talking about, of course, incubation, acceleration still being, I would say, plain vanilla.
Yeah.
People are talking about venture studio model, where they say, do you have an idea? You come with your idea, we will bring all the other ingredients needed to do your startup. Whether
Mhm.
it's building technology, whether it's pumping in money, bringing your co-founders, and building your team, access to market, validation of the technology, prototyping. So today, venture studios are emerging in various verticals. That's
Okay.
a predominant shift from what it was earlier on, right? Number
Yeah.
one. Number two, today, I mean, people earlier used to say we support all kinds of startups, right? Today, people are going deeper. In fact, there are ecosystems being built for health, being built for fintech, being built for manufacturing. So as ecosystems are being built, so the kind of support each ecosystem needs is different. When you're building healthcare, you have to work with a lot of hospitals, a lot of clinicians, a lot of, I would say, multinational companies who are working on healthcare solutions. When
Yeah.
you're building fintech, for example, RBI is a, I would say, premier financial institution in India. They have an innovation hub in Bangalore
Okay.
where they work with 10 plus incubators, give them access to banks, access to sandbox. So I think one part is the ecosystem is going deeper now.
Hmm.
That is
Okay.
one thing. Second
Okay.
thing also, what is also happening is a lot of people also now believe in how do we support the next generation of entrepreneurs who are coming in. Some of it happens pro bono. Some of the mentors give pro bono time saying, I want to give back from the ecosystem what I got. And I think Bangalore that way is fantastic for any pro bono work is happening. A lot
Yeah.
of people meet me, Rohit, on a normal basis, whether people are doing research on ecosystems in India. And the one biggest USP, what has come out is they say nothing like Bangalore. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think Bangalore, still that ecosystem is there for pro bono contributing. In fact, there was a researcher from one of the IIMs who was doing a study on ecosystems in India. So
Right.
they said there's some magic in the Bangalore ecosystem which is not there anywhere in India. I mean, the way people believe in unconditional support to entrepreneurs.
Right. I think it's also that's the reason why we're proud as Bangalore and being the startup capital of
Absolutely.
India. And most big companies have emerged from Bangalore, be it Infosys or any other company. So I also want to touch upon your initiatives are usually driven towards technology when it comes to healthcare. So what are some of maybe one or two difficulties, the major challenges or hurdles when it comes to developing a new technology in healthcare and getting it approved?
See, there are two things here. One is, see, unless we always tell startup, if you're building a solution or even you have an idea to build a solution, find out who's the customer. What are his pain points? What are you solving in his pain points through your technology, right?
Yeah.
Most of the times, I think one big problem is, especially in healthcare, they do not have access to the end user when they're conceptualizing the idea. For example, say they're building the solution which will solve the problem of a doctor or could be solving the problem of a patient or problem of a hospital, right? Unless the innovator has an access to early on to talk to these guys, how will he understand what are the features that needs to be built in the solution? So there's a big gap there.
Right.
Number one. Number two, thanks to a lot of government support, which is there, early grants, for prototyping, fellowships offered through so many incubators today across the country. Innovators, I would say they catch the early bait of these grants available, and I would say they feel, oh, this is very good, I should start off, and they get stuck. Without proper validation, early money also is a problem. They feel, yeah, I've got a money, maybe that itself is a good validation that my idea is good. That's a good validation that somebody will pay me later, which becomes a very vicious circle. And
Right.
it becomes all the more complicated because healthcare, as you rightly said, is very regulated.
Right.
Especially if you're building devices, it's a regulated because we are dealing with lives, right? And when it is a regulated industry, when you're doing a class C or a class D device, and which is invasive, it's a long regulation. Typically, for a regulated device, if you're building in healthcare, it'll at least take 8 to 10 years to hit a commercial success.
Hmm.
Then you're talking about a longer gestation, deeper capital, perseverance. How will the startup keep himself, herself alive, being funded with the right trajectory to make it happen?
Right. Absolutely. And I want to also ask you, what do you think it would take for a country like India to build an ecosystem, a holistic ecosystem that where we can leverage the technology to improve our own public health within the country and also then
Absolutely.
probably sell it as a model to a developing nation?
Absolutely. See, I think I've seen a lot of startups who are building solutions for India because for a startup founder, it's nice to give a very nice jazzy pitch deck saying,
Yeah.
yeah, this is India's problem, I'm building for India, right?
Yeah.
But then having built for India, if you're building a solution for public health, be it rural, be it urban, right? Because public health advantage is the scale.
Hmm.
Anything in India, you do public health, huge scale, right? The market is huge.
Yeah.
Then who's going to pay for the solution?
Correct.
The times either you have to sell to the government or you have to sell to a bigger foundation, bigger NGO who will do the deployment, right?
Correct.
So unless these two, the bridges are built, deployment happens, then how do you solve the problem? Unless you solve the problem of health as a public health problem, right? Health problems will continue to be there
Hmm.
because as a country as large as India, with the population predominantly being at the bottom of the pyramid, health is a public issue, right?
Right.
So unless you solve public health problem, be it we talk about, see now obesity itself is seen as a public health problem, right? Or diabetes or blood pressure or
Right.
tuberculosis, right?
Right.
So unless we are able to solve problems which are on scale for public, it will not achieve the scale.
Right.
But then if you have to do this, you will have to work with the government shoulder to shoulder or work with foundations who in turn work with government for the deployment.
Absolutely. And I also want to talk about the Matrix Global Summit 2025. I'm pretty sure you would have heard about it. It's happening on the
Absolutely.
1st and 2nd of July at Nimans Convention Center. Tell me about your thoughts about such events and how it helps budding entrepreneurs and existing entrepreneurs to grow.
Absolutely. And in this year, I think Matrix Summit, we have consciously chosen public health as a theme for the health track,
Yes.
specifically because we wanted to highlight one in terms of the opportunities for innovators, for entrepreneurs who are building solutions which are public health driven for India.
Yes.
Number two, we are also trying to build in today. If you see, I mean, the whole session, there are a lot of speakers in public health domain who are going to be speaking. People
Right.
from foundations, people who are very strong in technology or building solutions for India, people
Yeah.
who have startups who build solutions which are deployed in primary healthcare center across India, people from big hospitals like Nimans are going to be speaking. So the
Yeah.
plethora of speakers and public health. So if you see the theme, I think the 2 hour session is divided into broadly two broad sessions. One session is a panel discussion speakers. Other session is specifically for a couple of case studies on public health, where
Right.
we are bringing in people from the public health domain, like startups who've implemented solutions with BBMP, or it could be corporates, big companies who are building India-centric solutions, or massive big hospitals who are looking at how to handshake with hospitals and leverage AI. See, today AI is coming in a big way.
Yeah.
And again, the size of the country like India, no, where volumes of data is there, properly well-structured data, how we can leverage AI for better decision making so that patients are benefited at the end of the day. It's going to be really exciting in the Matrix Forum this year.
Absolutely. And I think for kids who are watching this, if you invest your time in AI, you will be successful, you will be rich, you will have everything you want. I think AI is the future. I think it's the present, but it's going to be more advanced in the future.
Absolutely.
Anyways, Dr. Lakshmi, thank you so much for taking your time out and being on Founders Frequency. It was an absolute pleasure talking to you. All the best with all your future endeavors and, of course, for the Matrix Summit.
Wonderful talking to you, Rohit. Have a
Thank
nice day. Thank you.